Hi everyone, my name is Sarah DeGrazia, and this is my presentation on health and aging. And the title is Aging, How Old Are You Really? So this is just kind of an overview of what I'm going to be talking about. We're going to go through health history based on like your family, your generational health, based on what generation that you were born into, how your food and physical activity play into your aging, and then we're going to do a little defy aging um, like experiment. And then we're also going to tie in how cognitive and memory function affect aging, and then stress level. And then lastly, we're going to talk about some challenges that I'm personally facing that affect my aging, and then some strengths that I'm doing right now. And then we'll follow up with recommendations on how I can change those challenges and make them strengths. So first we have our health history. I interviewed a few of my family members and just kind of asked about some current health that is concerning to my family. And we do have a lot of cardiovascular disease. My grandfather at about age like 52, I think, had a heart attack, and his health just kind of declined from there, and he eventually passed away from that. And then my great aunt currently has like artery problems. Her arteries are like blocked, and she has been having to have like stents and different procedures done for that. I also have some mental health history in my family. My grandmother has dementia right now, and then I have an aunt who has bipolar disorder. Some longevity, though, is that my great grandma did live to the age of 92. So that's kind of promising, knowing that um, she lived that long. And then on my dad's side of the family, they are Italian. And so they're very family oriented and food focused. And then I have several relatives that live together that aren't like immediate family members. I think that's just more of a cultural thing. So I did the life expectancy test and found that born the month and year that I was, currently my estimated total years of like life expectancy is 85, but as I get older, that is going to go up just based on like that you've already made it this far, so then you might make it even further. Some generational health. Right now, people in my generation are experiencing a lot of mental health problems, such as like depression and self-esteem. And a lot of this is tied into social media, and just like seeing others and putting value on visual things and like immediate gain. I do think my generation is very disconnected as well, just because we do so much connection through like online things, but not as much like in-person interactions and knowing how to like carry on a conversation with someone, and really ask them like how they're doing, like really how they're doing. My generation also has a lack of physical activity. We don't really go outside that much. A lot of people are gamers. Um, Also healthy eating. Um, there's a lot of processed foods right now and convenience foods and like fast foods, and people just are kind of looking for that instant gratification and don't want to put the time into cooking like whole healthy foods. And also they're just kind of expensive in general, and it is like more time consuming. But that definitely plays a role into generational health. And then lastly, high stress, probably tied into the pandemic that we had, and that um, like financially people are a little bit more unstable and just stressed about that. There was a test called the Real Age test where you put in like your nutrition and blood pressure and like your sleeping habits and a bunch of different questions like that. And I ended up shaving 6 years off my life, and it said that my real age was 15 years old. So that was kind of cool. I also did a lifespan score, which asks you about like your finances, and like how much risk you have, like if you buckle your seatbelt and things like that. And I had an estimated age that I'm going to live to be 92, which is kind of cool because that's when my great grandma lived to. Okay, food and physical activity. So I logged my food for 24 hours, and I'll kind of just skip forward to this one. So I had like egg and granola bar for breakfast and some Mexican food for lunch, and then chicken tacos for dinner. I'm not on a meal plan here at Eastern, so I like do my own grocery shopping and make my own food. So I eat fairly healthy. We'll back it up again though. And I'm also a nutrition major, so I'm just kind of focused on food and getting fruits and veggies in general. So my log was pretty healthy overall. And then physical activity, I actually was training for a marathon this summer and ran that in October. So when I took this test, I was like post-marathon training. So I was kind of like winding down from that. I'm kind of more focused now on like strength training and stuff like that. And so I guess I can skip forward again. Here was the some of the exercises I do. The app that like we had a link to didn't have a lot of the exercises I do. So this is just an example of some of them. But I kind of focus on like an arm day, like, you know, chest and triceps, and then like a leg day, things like that. But I work out 5 times a week. So pretty physically active. One of the research articles that I found, which the citations below there, found that exercise enhances antioxidant responses and thus decreases age-related oxidative stress and pro-inflammatory signals, and so it promotes good aging. So keep up the physical activity. Okay. Oops, skipped too far. So then the Define Aging was another test, and I scored a 30 out of 42 on this one, which says I'm between 25 and 30 years old. I answered no to 12 of the questions. It basically told me that I'm doing a number of things well, but that if I wanted to change these, I should focus on the easier changes and then progress to the more difficult ones. Cognitive and memory. I took the visual test, which was the one with the squares and blocks, and then the grid would get bigger and you had to keep like memorizing the order that they were clicking them in and then repeat that. I scored a 9 on this. It started out pretty easy, but then as the grid got bigger, it got pretty difficult. And then I did a word test, which again, they'd show you a word and then they would show you different words and you'd have to remember if you'd seen that word or not. So another memory test, and I scored a 90 or a 45 on this. Both those scores were average for my age. And then some research findings I found on memory and cognitive function and aging was that there was a study done with some elderly people where they implemented a 6-week program on like teaching them memory techniques and like memory puzzles and kind of like training them a little bit on their memory. And then they tested their memory ability pre-test and post-test, and they found that post-test their memory and cognitive function improved. So it just shows that you can improve your memory as you age if you keep up with different tests and stuff. Stress level. There was a stress test that we took. I'll skip forward to that. I scored a 266, which was between 150 and 299. And it said I have a moderate to high chance of becoming ill in the near future due to my stress. So I put up just some reasons why I'm so stressed right now, and that was school. I am a master's student in college, so I have a lot of assignments, grades, deadlines, things like that. And then my family, some of their health is not doing too well, so that's just kind of the back of my mind, and then spending quality time with them. Also just in the future in general, like I have an internship coming up in the summer. I'm also in a long distance relationship. Just kind of wondering like what my job and career is going to look like, and finances, just kind of a lot of questions into like what my future is going to look like also on there. And then I had an article that said that it again tested some elderly adults and measured the stresses earlier in their life and then their health and aging now. And it found that cumulative experiences of stress adversely affected their cognitive aging. And that was found by Marshall and colleagues in 2015. Okay, then lastly, so some challenges that I personally am facing to aging is stress, as we kind of pinpointed earlier, some family health history, so like cardiovascular disease and some mental health, and then lack of sleep. I don't sleep very much just because I have a lot of other things to be doing, and some strengths. I'm pretty healthy eater and very physically active. Social activities, I'm pretty involved with different clubs and friends and things like that. And then some hobbies that I enjoy that just hopefully relieve some of that stress. And then recommendations on what I could do better. For sleep, I could put my phone down 30 minutes before I go to bed, and then try not to eat 1 to 2 hours before going to sleep, just so that your digestion is done before you go sleeping. And then shoot for 8 to 10 hours of sleep a night, which is kind of a lot, but I've kind of found that when I get that, I feel better. And then stress, I can engage in more social activities and confide in close friends on things that are stressing me out. And maybe like plan out things better and then find a relaxing hobby. These were the references for the 3 research articles that I had referenced in this presentation. And thank you so much for watching.